Hello, hello. How is everyone doing today? Good, I hope. It's Thursday. I really thought today was Wednesday when I woke up. That's just weird, right? So you're looking around and you're going, yeah, well, I spent the first probably couple hours of today thinking it was Wednesday. And then someone said, well, it is Thursday. And suddenly it's like your entire world has changed. Right? You're like, whoa, you teleported forward in time by a couple of, well, by a day. Hi. Oh no, I'm not lined up. There we go. Yeah. What a day. What are we going to do today? So yesterday I did a whole lot of plumbing sort of stuff. I was actually dreaming about it last night. Yes, I dream about this stuff now. It's getting there. I'm almost at a point where I find it, I'm kind of getting excited about jumping forward and doing it. Of course, I'm going to have to wait a week to do that, but whatever. I spent the last couple of days also like doing all of the paperwork and signing, and there's just, selling a house is interesting. I'll just say that. I mean, buying a house was interesting and scary, and yeah, selling it's just kind of, there's so much to do, and it's funny because I ran into a situation where a lot of what we did didn't need to happen. But the problem is you don't know that. You don't have any way of knowing that. So like we did some yard work, landscaping stuff. Yeah, we did put a whole lot of extra effort into selling the house, and it just ended up that we had gotten a letter asking whether or not we were interested in selling, because there was a person who really wanted to live in that area, and that ended up being the person, like, throughout all of it. Their realtor kept like bothering us, saying, hey, we want to see it now. We want to see it before you get done with the repairs and painting, and we want to see it. We want to see it. So it's funny how that works out. But anyway, if this is your first time here, I'm David. This is my channel, Attention to Detail, where I focus on my projects basically, and I try to share my process with all of you. In some cases, that process is failing. Sometimes that process is quick solutions. My projects kind of run all over the place, from DIY, why can't I think of the word? Building, crafting, welding, stuff like that, although I haven't shown any of that yet. We're getting there. To electronics, to programming, and my home lab, maintaining that, things along those lines. So it's kind of a grab bag, but generally speaking, it's maker oriented and technology based. So yeah, with that out of the way, if you're on YouTube, do the like and subscribe. If you're here, hey, have a chat, say hi. If you're here on Twitch, part of it is about the conversation. It's a big part of it is about just holding myself accountable, but I wouldn't be putting it out here live if I didn't want to maybe find some other people who are interested in this sort of thing and maybe talk to them. So yeah, say hi. Let's get on with it. Boom, boom, boom. Helps if I have... Ta-da! So yeah, I've shared all of these. I think right now I only have... I have these two shared. I haven't started putting too much work into this yet. This is the one that's going to be... this is the plan that's going to be the lifting mechanism and the overhead. But right now, what I'd like to do is actually... I'm going to tinker this. I'm going to make sure that everything was visible. Everything that needs to be visible anyway. Now, I think I can export this into... I wonder if I can just import the URL. Let's do that. Boom, boom, boom. No, I need to go back to my dashboard. Hey, a phantom. And I did forget to check my loyalty. Oops. I think it's just WS. There we go. Sites. I need to... This is why I need to make sure I use this a little bit more, because I wrote that. How can I not remember what I wrote? But it is what it is, right? Okay, so if I go here and I say properties, maybe I can just do this, copy this, and if I tinker this guy, import from URL, not a valid URL. How is that not a valid? Hey, I caught the phantom. Those ones are funny looking. Dum, dum, dum. Phantom. Those ones make me laugh. Fantastically horrible. All right, enough squirrel talk. Can I get away with just copying and pasting? That would be nice. I don't think it's going to let me do it. But it did. Okay. I'll take it. Ah! So now, we can get rid of all of this stuff because it's now all of this stuff. I wonder if I should just group it. Because the one problem with grouping it... Oops, not what I wanted. Hey, it left the pipes different colored. That's good. So in theory, this guy just drops right. Uh-oh. Did I make you too big? Let's turn that snap grid at least down. And it looks like you might. No, it's what I like to call a snog feet. Oh, we want it to be a proper snog feet. See, and that's part of the reason I wanted to do that is because this is where I was thinking about putting one of the racks. But if I have the hole here, the motor is basically going to be mounted like right in here. So I'm going to have to move this over a bit. Just to make sure I get good engagement, right? Cool. So that fits. Ish. Why can I see it through here? Okay. I mean, it looks like I'm slightly off in either direction, but that's okay. That's going to be fitting. Like I said, it's not according to plans. It's according to, or this isn't being built as plans. This is being built as sanity check. Cool. So now let's go back over here. And let's get back into this guy, which I should have renamed. And I should have labeled these things. Like, I don't remember what I was doing with this, but it looks like it was important, right? And this should be, what, 72 inches. 79 inches. Oh, this is me. This is the Bronco. Okay. I mean, I'd be 7.3 if we're being honest. But close enough. I shouldn't have to duck too far. And then this guy. Wait. Why is it getting that? There we go. So that's the inner guide. That's one thing. Like, I'm going to poke these holes, right? Am I going to put the guides on the outside like this? Or am I going to have them raised up a little bit? What height are these at right now? "25 inches. And this guy is at 25 inches. Okay, so I kept that standard. Good. And then this guy is basically 49 inches. Why do I have this top one in place? Oh, I was trying to be clever. Now I remember. I was thinking I would and I'm probably still going to do that. I may have this sleeve stick up just a little bit. So if I have that sleeve come through here and maybe stick up an inch-ish. Maybe more than an inch, maybe like 2 inches. And then, see, and that again, that changes this, but it could also allow me, when I think about it, if that sleeve sticks up enough, I could mount the motor to the side of it. Actually, probably on the back side of it, just to help protect it just a little bit more, even though it's supposed to be weather resistant. I'd rather it be a little more protected, right? What's the length on this guy? It's just set to 1. And this is... Why are you going? Oh, I need this guy. It's doing that weird thing where it's trying. Okay, so that's 1.2. I've already got it set to... Sometimes I'm so smart, I forget that I'm smart enough to outsmart myself. I think you already thunk of that, David. All right, so we're caught up. You square, I'm square. Okay, so let's grab the VEVOR. Loading. Oh, you're not loading. You're loaded. We're looking at these guys specifically. 89106. Yes, continue as me. I mean, I am mildly concerned that that's how it's resistant. It's just got a sleeve. Mildly concerned. I mean, I could wrap it in saran wrap myself, right? I wonder if there is travel speed. It does not appear to have. All right, it looks like not seeing measurements. I mean, I see the overall measurements. Please see file below. Why would you have a temporarily valid? Yeah, I don't know. And I feel like I should be concerned about the questions in Russian. I really don't like the idea of Here's a link to a file. I mean, as a security person, that is absolutely the worst response. Oh, it has limit switches built in. That's good to know. That kind of changes things a little bit for what I was looking at. But they're probably just limit switches for the RAM itself, meaning it can't go past its own. Well, that yawn snuck up on me. Yeah, it probably just can't go past its own limits. I'm still... Part of me is just thinking, you know what? It's $200. Let's just put 4 on there. But the other part of me is like, I know I can get away with 2. Please note, you need to separately purchase the 12-volt 8-amp power supply and controller part. Actually, you know, I haven't even thought about, do they have a controller? And is that controller like USB? Let's grab this, copy. Yes. We'll do a new tab. Pasta. Guide rail, actuator, and bed lift. Murphy bed set. Let's do... Why not? Sliding get these things, man. They always get me. I wanna do it. Almost missed a Natsu. Barata. Because I really haven't put any I haven't put any thought yet into controlling it. I mean, I've put some thought into it, right? Wow, I caught the Natsu too as well. These things though, 130 bucks. Like, man. What is in this kit? Like, it would almost be kind of cool just to have this in the back and just be like, okay, I can plug this in instead of the solar. If it's, you know, storming or something. No, squirrel. No squirrels. That's my sticker. No squirrels. No, you need... Only the push rod is included. Additional installation accessories need to be purchased separately. You'd think in the... You might also be interested in area. There might be a controller? I don't know. mean, I know that I can use, well, let's follow that for a little bit before I get to designing the thing. I don't know why I went to Amazon. We want a 12 volt, 6. Well, it's 12 volt, but if I'm looking at 4 of them, we'll just assume that I may be looking at 4 of them. That makes it a 24 amp. I don't think I'm going to be able to get something like this, although that's 20 amp. And realistically, the only control I need, I don't need a normal, I don't need like stepper motor control, right? It's on or it's off. Makermotor.com. Okay. Enables bidirectional control of one motor. Okay. Ground, pull to it, and do they have like a, there we go, use a manual. So power input, motor output, PWM. Which, I mean, if I take something like this and it gets attached to the feather, which is around here, yeah. And PWM requires digital, I believe, if I'm remembering right. It's kind of weird to think I haven't messed with an Arduino in a very long time. It used to be kind of a daily thing at work where I would just pick one up and, you know, make it do something, but I haven't done anything with electronics in probably a year and a half at this point. I am looking for Raspberry PWM. Boom, boom, boom. Understand the GPIOs. Pulse width modulation. Okay, so it's not digital. The alternating LED's voltage between high and low very fast. Your eyes can't keep up with the speed. Yeah. Okay. So I have it backwards. It is, or not backwards, it is digital. Those are the hardware, those are the GPIOs. So now let's look back here. Does this one also have, because in a lot of cases, what they'll do with these, they're not really knockoff Raspberry Pis, but they're purpose-built Raspberry Pis, is they'll take the pins that they need and attach them to the CAN bus. In this particular instance, and terminal blocks, blah blah blah. I think any one of these is fine. Oops, that's not what I wanted. So for you, it says they're labeled GPIO. These... Oh, you know what? They're labeled GPIO. There we are. GPIO 12, 13, 18, and 19. So those are the pins up in the 30 level. So it is possible that they're taking those because these ones cap out. Okay, popping. The same one you used in the Raspberry Pi Pico. Maybe that's what I need to look. Let's do Raspberry Pico PWM. So what is GPI? Oh, 1819 is 24 and 25 here. Yes, this is how I live my life. Like, I don't want to plan on designing around this thing if I find out that they've stashed those pins away or they're using them somewhere else. Oh, there we go. 16 PWM. So, which 16? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, I know that you can, these are basically just digital, but they're digital with a purpose and you can just turn them on and off. Maybe these ones? I don't think the analogs are. But it says it has 16 PWM outputs, so we'll go with it. Pin number 13, red LED for general purpose blinking. I do like that it's a Type-C connector. I wonder if they have any cases for these, or if that's a oh, just scroll to the bottom, that's where the pinout is. Duh. Power management, cool. Oh, geez. I've got all the links over here. Downloads, datasheet, EagleCAD, fritzing. So I'll probably have to print a... Yeah, I'll probably just have to print a case for these and figure out mounting. So I'll just have to design something in Tinkercad. Huzzah! And that's probably going to be... I think fritzing is the one that has the board layout so I can find where the holes are so I can just click it in. But that's not what I was after. All right. We can go back here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is what we're doing. What I don't have yet, though, in this budget, I have tent set up here, right? Go away. Which includes the stabilizers. And it includes some of these. I think these technically should fall under extras. Let me stop yawning. Holy cow. I do have the DIY rack. But this is just the metal portion of it. And maybe I do put it here. Because, okay, yeah, I have the actuators here, so we'll do that. That's going to mean, realistically, we're going to want 4 of those. Where did you go? There you are. Why did it take? Well, it doesn't matter if it's the learning page or not, right? And how much were these silly things? Primary products, featured products. It's the same picture. Quillfish. Which means that's the one. That's the link that I want. And they're $19.95. And I caught the quillfish. Wow. Wow. I don't think I'm using that. Doesn't really have a weight, but all right. And then if I'm going to be ordering from Adafruit anyway, which by the way, if you do any of this maker stuff and you're not ordering from Adafruit, you're probably doing it wrong. They've got all of the cool stuff. Let's do 12 volt. No. Oops, it was F11. 12 volt motor controller. Feather wing for any feather. And this is something that I did run into with them a lot, I have to admit. Like, they are kind of designed around the idea of makers. You know, if you're going to make a little robot, you're going to make a 3D printer. They're not really trying to sell you they're not trying to sell you industrial motor controllers, you know. It's more about getting you started than keeping you going. A vibrating motor disc. Bzz. Yeah, it's all going to be these little sort of guys. But I'm going to double check, because if I can get it from them, I'll get it from them. Dum, dum, dum. They're making Lego switches now. That's kind of cool. (16-channel PWM). That's kind of fun. Stepper motor bonnet. 4 DC or 2 with full PWM speed control. (1.2 amps per channel). That's a no. I didn't think so, but I'll check. It's like they've kind of set themselves at a limit of past this, someone could really hurt themselves. So we're not gonna sell that. At least that's my thinking. I have a feeling this is going to be too small as well. I think I saw 5 volt. Up to 6 volt. Nope. I think this is just another Raspberry Pi, basically. That is... nope. All right, now I'm going to have to go back to the one I was looking at, which... where did it go? Wasn't it one of these? 12 volt, 6. Well, let's size it up. 10 amp. It's usually a good idea to have a little overhead there. If you're running it at max, the heat becomes a problem. Pico stepper. I mean, yes, but also no. What was the one I was just looking at? Is it because... we were just looking at one, right? What happened? I mean, I guess I could just get something like this. I just worry about these eBay. Like, you don't know who made it. If something goes wrong with it, well, oh well. Is it because I'm including the word Pico? Oh, you know what? That's what I need. Pretty sure this is what I was doing. I mean, not to say that this is better. PWM? Where's the one I was literally just looking at? Like, I don't want the knob on it, you know what I mean? I don't care about that. It's not a speed control. It's really, it just needs to be on or off. 12 volt 24. Again, that's eBay. Let's look at this eBay thing. Hello, alien. Soft start, blocking low voltage. Let's just try motor controller. How am I not finding the one that I was like literally just looking at? I'm not understanding. AliExpress. Forward, reverse, limit, start, stop. These are all going to be the little guys in their H-bridge configuration. You know, now that I think about it, POL, it's POL. There's a specific company, and I actually have some of their stuff. I'm probably going to go digging through. Yeah, there we go. Pololu. So max voltage, cool. That's in the range that I'm looking at. Max continuous current. with no additional cooling, 7 amps. USB, TTL, analog, or RC. Hardware current limit, reverse voltage protection. See, this is closer to what I expected to see. But the newer versions are cheaper. That's good. So let's look at this guy. With quick configuration over USB using our free software. I mean, if it's at 12 volts and it can handle the amps, there isn't any reason to think that I can't just drive all 4. I mean, they all need to do exactly the same amount of up and the same amount of down. They should never be individually controllable. Well, they should never need to be moved individually. The maximum recommended voltage 24, but it's going to be 12. You need to identify which version you have. You can plug into a computer. Grubbin. Squirrel. I mean, it's pretty small for what it is. Simple bidirectional control of one motor. So these, the motor controller costs more than the motors. Okay. Granted, this is a this is if I want to get it from an incredibly reputable company, whereas VEVOR, I mean, they have these linear actuators too, but I think they charge an arm and a left one for them. Yeah. So this is a, what, 12 volt 20 inch. And this is a 12 volt 24 inch. So the question is, hey, I cut the grubbin. The question is, how different could these really be? I mean, they've got the same. They've got the same lift. With Acme drive, oh, and feedback. That might be the big difference there. Yeah, okay. This guy's just on, off. This is on, off, and here's where I am. So that's probably just because I went down to the industrial. So let's, but they stop at 12 inch. What did we decide? I think it's in here. travel, I need 20 inches of travel. Why do I need 20 inches? I mean, that puts it at 62. I'm already going to be a foot above. I do need about that, so we're going with the cheaper ones. But I do still need the motor controllers. And I honestly would prefer to not spend $100 per motor. But these little disc robots are hella cool. A lot of their kits are really cool. Let's see what they got here. So if I have a dual, but the max, I need something like this guy. But then I'm burned on the current, literally. Oh, it specifically says low power. Medium power. Max continuous. There we go. And that's 30 bucks. Well, $60 for a dual. Two high-powered DC motors. B&H 5019. Operate from 5 to 24. A continuous 12 per motor. Wow, it does 12 per motor, so I may be able to go down here to the 9 amp. Oh, they don't have that in dual. And 5 amp. Let's go back here and double check this. 6-ish amp. That's not the place to cheap out, right? I'm guessing this is only available in single. But of course it's the one that's in the range that I'm kind of looking at, huh? What about the low end of the high power? Still $60. Shield version available, yes. Raspberry Pi expansion available. Let's take a look at this guy. It is, when it comes to this sort of stuff, overbuilding is 99.99% better. So they're efficient enough to deliver a continuous 18 amp without a heatsink. So yeah, even if I do, I'm kind of looking at this as okay, 4 motors, right? I don't need 4 motors, but what I do want is I want them in sync rather than trying to push from one side and, getting cattywampus and having to deal with the idea of putting bearings on the inside and, all that stupidness. So let's look at the resources on this. That's a dimension. They have the 3D models, a drill guide, and an Arduino library, but I don't really need I shouldn't need a library. What I do want is, well, I think for now we're going to put this down. This is going to be our motor controller, right? This does change here because instead of 4, I need 2, so that saves me $40. And we need 2 of these, and they are $59.95. $59.95 and X. All right, so we got the motor controller, and basically, or not controller, driver, and then this is going to be the motor controller. Each one of those can lift 600 pounds, so I'll definitely have enough lifting force. I do feel like there might, well, the safety aspect of it, I need to figure that out because I don't want it to push too much. I also don't want it to pull too much. I still think, let's go back to Tinkercad. Maybe that's what I was doing with that. I don't know. Set it aside for now. You know what I should do? Because we know what happens if I don't label stuff. Do the same thing here. And that stupidness. Probably wrote Bronco height somewhere. Whatever. Why? Why do you do this to me? Let's change that color so it's a little readable. Make you a hole and group you. Make you a hole and group you. There we go. At least that way, like, I know what these are and why they're here. Not like, what? Like this, I don't know why I have that there. I know at the bottom of this is the same height as the bottom of that, and I know that it's slightly sticking up. And I do think that my plan is point 0.1 by 0.1. Basically just punch that straight through and put a pin in it. Oh, that's a 10-inch ring. That's 0.01 by 0.01. Electric. I should probably just try and make sure that these are all centered. Because my thinking is I'm going to put 3 pinholes through this, right? And you, and you. And you, and you, and you. Let me group you, and then you're going to become holes. And then you're going to get grouped. Wait a second. Did I do the wrong ones? You and you. And group. And then you. And you are grouped. And in theory, a hole straight through. All right. And those pins are just going to be in entirely the wrong place. Oh, boy. That's all right. So here's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to build a reference for the motor. Actually, let's do one more thing. One more squirrel. Let's get a Raspberry Pi 5 because the idea is going to be that I'm going to have a central point that basically this will be driving the commands out on the RVC network, and those feathers will hear that command and go, oh, that's me, I'll do the thing. Can bus. Such an upgrade also causes major headaches for manufacturers. Read our test report. I mean, I guess, oh, that's just the same. That's what I was reading. Okay. Can bus data frame between. Okay, installation requires a few extra steps. Cool. What? Look, it's enabled. SPI. Enableize ports. Initialize the ports. Can utils is available. Cool. You should experience no problems with boards that don't carry an SMPS. SMPS versions will also work, but their use may restrict the range of hardware extensions. The Raspberry Pi is ideally powered by a 5 amp power supply. So wait, is the switch mode power supply theirs? With 3 amp switch mode, okay. Well, they say that those are the weird ones, right? So excuse me. Although this is just one company. SMPS situation applies specifically to automotive applications when power is supplied through the vehicle's battery. You must also be cautious about using the Pi 5 in automobiles or any battery supplied application. I consider 5 amp almost prohibitive for automotive applications. Okay. What else do we have? 2-channel isolated CAN bus expansion. Compatible with Raspberry Pi 5. Okay. It's got 11 ratings. They're all 5. That's concerning. Do you remember a time when you'd see a 5-star rating and not immediately think, that's probably a bot or that's a friend of the company? A 2-channel CAN hat plus a 2-channel CAN bus expansion hat designed for the Raspberry Pi, supporting expanding CAN channels by stacking, blah, blah, blah. Onboard various protection circuits, including electrical isolation. What can it do? Enable isolated and stable CAN bus capability for your Raspberry Pi. You know, I'm kind of just going all in on this CAN bus thing, but this seems like it's talking to individual devices. Whereas the RVC, while technically a CAN, this... Oh, no, it's not this one. Man, the company or consortium or whatever that makes the Raspberry Pi, or not Raspberry Pi, makes and maintains RVC, they put out some videos and holy cow, are they dry. The guy's trying to be funny. He says every other word. It's entertaining, to say the least. And when you're at 5x speed or 2x speed, it's like it's an machine gun. Don't get me wrong, I understand that it takes a long time to edit out of your vocabulary, where when you're talking, it's better to say nothing than to try and fill that space, because filling that space is terrible when you're trying to get your point across. It's such a horrible thing to listen to and know that this guy's doing his best, and you know, you can't fault him for that. I know I slip into it sometimes. I very specifically stop myself from saying those filler words if at all possible, and I will just stop. Then you'll hear me break my speech, because to me that's better. See? It slips in there. It's unavoidable, I swear. And that's something that I want to find a video, like, where did that come from? Why did we decide that we need to fill time in our conversations with just completely worthless words, sound? They're not even words, they're sounds, realistically. It's like having a verbal loading screen, and some people are like a 486 trying to run Crisis. Little stuttery. Yeah, I don't know. We're all a little stuttery. It's just a matter of whether or not we show them the loading screen. You being them. Don't share your loading screen, folks. Where were we? I was looking for... Okay, so the reason that I started looking at the feather... Where did you go? Oh, that's right. I left you over here. Is because it was being used in a project that I saw connecting the RVC of a trailer to HomeKit. So my assumption, squirrel, small squirrel. My assumption is that anything that can speak CAN should be able to deal with the quote-unquote RVC network, because it's just a rebranding of CAN. At least it seems like it. Maybe not a rebranding, maybe it's just different signals. And the only reason that I'm on that particular the only reason that I'm on that particular trail, path, what have you, is because all of the Renagy stuff has an RVC port. So if I can get this trailer to have RVC, then I can monitor all of the power, I can monitor all of the solar, I can monitor the batteries, geez. Now that I've said it, it's gonna sneak out of me even more. I swear. But it allows me to put all of that together and control it all. Realistically, do I need the motors to be CAN bus enabled? No. But if I'm going to be doing something that's pulling the data from all of the power stuff, why not have the ability to use that pre-existing network to just add a button to the control panel that says lift, drop, right? Maybe be able to add the water sensor for the water tank. Be able to maybe have something that keeps track of a propane tank if I'm putting it on there. Just all of those things I want available. At some point I'm going to want a mast for the Starlink satellite dish. Just press a button, whoop, it goes up. Maybe at the end of it, it's got a compass. It finds north and just turns it that way, so I don't have to deal with getting my app out, finding north, making sure, manually twisting it. I'm a tech guy. I like the idea of all of this stuff, which can take care of itself, to be able to take care of itself. You just have to give it the tools. all of that being said, do I need a Raspberry Pi? Or do I need a Raspberry Pi 5? I like the idea of a 5 just because it gives me a little bit more power to work with. I don't have to be extra careful about the overhead. In theory, there probably isn't much of a reason that I couldn't plug this guy directly into the Raspberry Pi. It doesn't need, I could just get one of these. It's a Raspberry Pi that's connecting to a Raspberry Pi, but it doesn't particularly matter, right? So maybe I just make it 3 of these, and I just have this communicate over the SPI serial port interface. Yeah, the SPI, and just say, call that good enough, because dropping another $50 on a hat to do it when I can just use the exact same thing that I'm already using, just for a different use case. Yeah, I think that's the route I'm going to go. And then it doesn't really matter what the controller computer is. It can be whatever I want it to be, as long as it can speak SPI or whatever else I make this thing speak, right? Yeah, glad you were there to talk me through it. So we'll just make you 3. If the way that this is working at the moment, though, I'll have another one just handling the water monitoring situation, right? I suppose in theory I can cross-pollinate. I guess there's no reason that I can't just have one of these using 2 of its PWM channels to handle 2, so one of them handling both motors. I could try it, in which case if I have 3 of them, then I can figure out what to do with a 3rd one anyway. I will find an excuse. Yeah. Smooth, right? All right, so back at the ranch. Oops, sorry. Back at the ranch, we have this little mechanism, and I was going to mock up the motors. All right, since we have an idea at this point of how we're going to control these motors, and that may be one of the first things that I do, because I can order most of those parts and make sure that they're here next time I'm in front of a computer, and I can just point a camera down and lay everything out. Maybe have set up another view so that you can see what I'm doing physically, what they're doing physically, and then start building an interface. I actually have kicking around here somewhere a Arduino, not Arduino, a Raspberry Pi touchscreen, but I would like to have something that's just facing out, but I can also just put it in one of the waterproof enclosure type things. So we'll see. That's a TBD situation. All right, we are going to model our cheap ass linear actuators. So it is 26.37 inches. And kind of tube-like. We don't really have a width. I can kind of try to guess, I suppose. Let's do the old shot of screens. And see if we can't utilize their measurement system for our purposes. I should be able to paste as new image. There we go. All right, so we have 20. I'm just gonna use millimeters because it is easier. 670 millimeters. No. We want to crop. We're going to go straight to it. Make sure how close we are. And same on bottom. Cool. Tools. I thought it was here. Crop. Oh yeah, crop to selection. Cool. Now, can I need to subdivide this by, what, 67? That gives us 10 millimeter slices. I can't say I know how to do that. Let's see. Oh, it's another grid option. Image. Configure grid. There we go. All right, so I'm not going to be able to get it into. I need to go the other way. Because that's not 670 millimeters either way. Oh, I can still do 67. Oh, no, wait. I'll leave that as 10. But you're going to be 67. What? Why you no show grid? Oh, you have to click. Okay, so then if I go view, show grid. That's incorrect, sir. Configure grid. Okay, so it just switched everything to 67. But I want the spacing to put 67. Does it have... Somewhere it's got to have the size of this image, right? .88 by 320, or 89 by 323. So, Zelts. If we use Yieldy calculator and we say 393 divided by 67 is 5.86. Snow runt. So we need you to be 5.86. That should give us 67-ish pixels. So that means each one of these is 10 by 10, or should be. Which gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it should be 60 across. And everything's still in Imperial. I'm going to change that. I'm just looking at that like, oh God. I don't want to, I just don't. All right. We're not going to be able to get depth. Hey, I got the snow. I'm catching everything today. That's delightful. All right, so let's start here, which is going to be 60. Although, let's stick with our by 10, huh? I'm kind of trying to make an assumption here that that's 60. So that makes this 2. And that covers our bottom area. And then the cylinder here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, there's something about that black and that just messed with me. Actually, okay, so I have 1, 2. I should have done this as 30, not 20. So 3. And then you are 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know why it's messing with me like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If I'm counting that, so it's 8. And if it's going to be a cylinder, it's going to be 3 by 3. which that gives us a little bit more information, which is nice. 3.1, 3.3. It's probably a 3.1. 3.2? No, it's 3.1. I had it right the first time. Although, let's do this. Bada bing. Make sure you're in the center. Looks good to me. All right, what did we decide? It was 8. I don't want to count that again. And then we have the other side, which is the remainder. And that remainder was 3. 30. And then it's probably going to be about the same width. 3.10. And if we've decided that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's 70 up. So that means it should be no, because it's 600. So it is 60. Okie doke. Let's get all of these grouped together. And there's our, well, that's almost our knockoff motor. We still need to add, I need to put a hole there, and I need to add a little bit on the bottom, right? Oops. So that bottom bit is basically, that's going to be 20. And it's about 10 in from the side. So you're 2. And I'm just going to assume that it's 20 by 20, or, 2 by 2 by 2. Because why not? It's probably going to be more thick. Come on. Well, actually, no, I just want it centered here. Wait, what? Oh, yeah. That's what I meant to do. There, and you're going to be, I'll bet it actually says what the size of those are. It should. Model input. Key specification, travel length, retracted length. It does not say what size these pins are. That would be, oh, hey. Whoops. There. So 77. And then I'm guessing that measurement is there. Oh no, it's across the bottom. So 40 millimeters. Let's see, how close was I? I don't remember. So I got 31. I'm off. Not much. It's a pretty good guesstimation on my part, I'm just gonna say. Oh, it's not 4.1, it's just 4. And then that is, it says 77, and I have it as 6, so that's close. All right. It drives me insane that it doesn't give me any information about the post, though, right? That should... What is the RAM diameter? Oh yeah, we already did that. We played that game. It's not saying really anything about that, though. I'm beginning to worry about, like, is this a real company? They seem to sell everything. One second. Just transitioning some stuff around real quick. I'm not gonna lie, part of me really wants to just order this stuff right now, but I need to stop myself because I'm right at the finish line. I'll be getting my budget soon. All right, so what I was doing is I was going to punch a hole in this. It's no longer centered. But it's not actually centered on the motor. It's centered over the shaft, which makes me think I should break these guys up, and then you and you, then I do the centering. Cool. Not you. And then the group, yeah. Cool. And now we poke a hole. We'll just say it is a 10 by 10. Why would I? Okay. I think I need to break this apart again just so I can make sure that that's mostly centered. Or should I just call acceptable? I think I'm just going to go with acceptable. Yeah. And then we just poke another hole in the top. I mean, I'm pretty sure that measurement just includes that little thing sticking out the top, right? Yeah, the 670 includes it, so I'm not going to try and figure out how tall it is. I'm just going to assume. No. We'll call that good enough. I mean, again, sanity check, not reality. A Passimian. I got it off in time. Sweet. All right, so drag this up. And, oh, the first one I didn't catch. And we want it just like on that last inch or so. What the hell? And we want it as centered as possible on that pin, right? So kind of like that. See? That tells me that this guy's got to be higher. Not you, you. Which means all of those pins in here have to be higher. No, this and this. This, this, and this. We want you to be there-ish. Maybe a little bit lower. But we're kind of there. I mean, that's basically it, right? I don't really need that collar. I just like the idea of if I need to take this thing off, I have I can use that collar basically to set a pin into the frame. I'll probably, actually, I'll want those 3 pins to be a little bit higher. Because what I'd want is to be able to lock this collar somewhere so that it takes the, no, because this is what's going to move. So this locking these pins actually don't do anything and are a dumb idea. And that really means that that collar is pointless. Because if I'm going to have a position where this can be locked, it's going to be locked down here underneath the pins, or underneath the motor. Not if. I mean, there's going to be a cross pin so that the motor brings it up, and then I can just go clink, because I don't want the motor to be holding it after it's done, right? Like, it's got to do its job and then lock into place. I may even go so far as to, like, have a hole drilled in. So if I have a hole drilled in there, and then I have like a spring-loaded guy that just sits there, and when it gets up to the level, it goes clink, and then the motor can turn off. So for me, there's the one issue that it is a ball screw. So with it being a ball screw, that means that it's going to have to go up, lock into position, and then adjust itself to take tension off of the screw. Which could work out, because if I have the system set up so that it has to go up and that'll unlock it, and then it can go back down, kind of like a call them handyman jacks, but what are they called? Post jack? Nope, not a post jack. This guy. Utility farm jack. I don't know if you know how these guys work, but basically this guy causes, there it is, causes these pins to walk in and out. And if you flip this switch, it says that the pins operate in reverse. So every time you pull this lever down, it either lifts or drops and pulls out a pin and then sets the other pin. And that might be more than I want to take on. It isn't a super complex setup. but it is an interesting one. There's got to be another way to do that, though. I mean, I could just use a solenoid or something. Or I could just have a lever there. I mean, realistically, if I put a lever, like a locking lever on it, I would want some way to make sure that I couldn't try to make it move. But that I might be getting a little too far into the weeds with how much effort I need to put into this. Like, I'm planning for things that aren't quite happening and may not happen. I mean, granted, if I were gonna lend this trailer and someone else was gonna use it, would I want that? Yes. I would want to make sure that to idiot-proof it a little bit better. I do still like having a collar to connect. It just feels like it gives it some more meat at that area. It's hard because everything here is red. Let's change you to a nice blue. And maybe you can be a nice... I'm not going to say what that is. It also helps a little bit with the spacing, I think. And I mean, here I'm honestly thinking that I'm going to end up welding another piece of box here and then just drilling straight through so that it's got positive connection on both sides of it, you know, and then just weld that thing right to this. And if it needs to be stronger, just throw a strap on and weld it even more. I mean, I could probably even do something particularly crazy and like grind a cut and maybe I'll grind a little notch out of this and pry it out so that it's got a piece of the metal holding it, and then box it in, weld that. So it would basically need to peel this like a banana for it to break, yeah. But I think those are going to be game time decisions. All right. There's still this as kind of a game time decision too, because I don't think the sleeve is particularly useful. Like, it doesn't really provide much, right? Maybe a little bit of adjustment. And basically I'd be welding this sleeve onto this, onto the main support. I guess it would make it would create a stop, a lower limit. Granted, that lower limit's going to be probably, actually, that's what I'm gonna probably want to do, is make sections of this box that are the upper and lower limits. Well, just the lower. I can't really do upper. So like right now, this would be the extended position. So you need to go down. I have to change the settings back to inches because that's what I was measuring in. So if you go down by, no, -2, that's the lowered position. So I need you and you to also go down to like there. Okay. And then if you extend, the total extension is what? 20 inches. So you and you, no, you and you. Why is it so hard to grab this stupid collar? You, and also you, go up by 20. That has you just barely sticking out the bottom, which I don't want. And wait a minute. Oh, no, that's about right. Because then I've got about another 2 inches. Well, I've got at least another inch on top for whatever bracket goes across the top, right? I guess actually this is where the collar does make sense, because I can use the collar to give myself an extra inch or 2 of height. With the 3 different positions. Yeah, the collar's staying. Because yeah, it'd just be the same pin that this guy's pushing on would be a pin that goes all the way through. And then I could just basically, if I wanted it, if I needed it lower, I go lower. And I use that pin. If I need it higher, I go higher. And I use that pin. And that basically gives me 4 inches of play back and forth. Yep, that is the answer, because then I can also take another chunk of this, because this is never going to come out that end. This then becomes the cross member, and I can set that on. I don't have to worry about building all of that in place. I could even cap it off and put a regular truck cover on it. One of the ones I was looking at. Come on. Well, okay, maybe not this one. Might be excessive. No, I could, well, it's got the 3. Whereas I'm looking at dual. I think I actually, you know, I just realized I haven't looked at the tent in a little bit. Okay, yeah, it's got the dual, so dual is fine. Dual, deny. Roof platforms. Oh, no. We just want the roof rack system, but I could just use like one of these guys. Holy cow, though, that's kind of expensive. It would be kind of silly to go so far as to build everything and then go, I'm gonna slap a Thule on top of it. So yeah, let's just leave that. Why do I have 1 listed here? Oh, 0. And it's not X'd. I would need 1 of them. Okay. Sometimes as I've said, I've frightened myself with my own. Oh, I forgot a bundle. I missed a Bumblebee. Bumblebee. All right. So meanwhile, back at the ranch. Yeah, we're going with this sleeve concept, and like I said, that allows me to create. That allows me to create some adjustment. So we're going to move this back down to the lowered position, which is -2. And that should be the highest position. That's kind of a problem. That's okay. I can just use this since that's not set yet. And then just bring you back down. There we go. So that's what that's going to look like. Nice. All right, now this guy, we're going to take, and I'm just going to rotate you. I guess I didn't need all the holes in it, so we can get rid of you. And I do want a little bit of overhang. Let's just make sure that that's 0. I'm probably going to want just a little bit of wiggle room in there. So this may get a little taller. Yeah, that gives me a little bit more to play with. And now the question is, do I want to just leave it to where this is another bracket and I can slide the other through it? Or do I just want to wonk? Because right now my steel budget doesn't include the wonk portion of it. What does it say here on the, you can go away, on the Thule site? It gave some information about like what D9, all right. Dimension, blah, blah, blah. Sleeping footprint. Minimum bar spread is 33.5 inches. Okay. Does it have a width? It's $35 for a nut, a bolt, and 2 pieces. I'm sorry. There's some parts of this world, well, I mean, anything that gets semi-specialized, where you look at someone somewhere, sat down, looked at this little bag that has these little parts in it and said, this costs us X amount of dollars to put all of this stuff in this bag, and somehow came up with the number of $35 to recoup and make their acceptable level of profit. I just don't get it. It's maybe they have some sort of specialty machine that's punching those long strips of metal in the exact size. I don't know. But like if what I'm building needs an adapter kit, I think I can make this. Just saying. I think that's going to be within my abilities. And a nylock nut and a bolt, I know where to find those for like 19 cents, 18 cents. Like, and this channel, the channel thing, okay. Maybe it's specific to their channel and they need to personally manufacture this shape, but if that's the case, why would you not just use off-the-shelf standard channel sizes? Is there some benefit that only shows itself in the roof rack world? I don't know. But anyway, rant aside. I did it again. What we want to do is figure out what the width of their roof rack normally is. That's what I was looking for. I mean, you know, as funny as it is, what is the expected width of their roof rack? Because I need to be at least there, right? Super useful, guys. let's just say we'll go with this guy. Factory installed crossbar, third party. We'll go with that. Unfortunately, there are no fits. Okay. Let's try that one. It does not fit. Okay. Okay. Ah, boy. No fit. All right, so wing bar. Electabuzz. Great ball. How loyal am I to myself? I am 147 loyal. That's right. Oh yeah, I'm looking at content guidelines. I want to figure out, because it says you may need an adapter. That's fine. I've never mounted a rooftop tent, sorry. But which option does not require an adapter? Oh, okay, here we go. Wingbar Evo and Aeroblade. I got the Electabuzz. Yes. Do not use dual tents with any type of dual clamp style roof rack, as the high static wind may cause damage to your car. Nope. Nope. Make sure raised rails are structurally supported. Okay. Make sure crossbars are positioned next to supports of raised rails. All right. Adapter kit. The adapter kit is hilarious. All right, for 4, it has a minimum of 30 inches side to side. Is there a maximum? I guess it wouldn't really matter. Okay. But what about the distance? Is there a distance from front to back? They keep showing this picture like you're done, but that's not true. Is this part of the adapter kit, or is this what's in there? And am I going through, is this showing going through? Okay. So I would just be using an adapter kit, basically. Because I need a piece of metal and 2 bolts. I think I can handle that. But again, I'm more concerned with how far apart are these. The bars should be placed between 24 and 36 inches apart, measured from the same position of each crossbar. Oh, holy cow. I saw, since buying the Bronco, I've become kind of a fan of all things Bronco. It's a cult, I swear. But I saw an ad for KC lights, and they had this nice Bronco that they're using as their show car. I clicked on that ad. I have now seen that ad a million times. It comes up on every single ad break on YouTube TV. It shows up on Reddit. It shows up on Bing. It shows up. It just shows up everywhere. I don't understand it. I mean, I do understand it. I know how it works, but geez, could that be a good thing? Is that... There has to be something in advertising where they realize that maybe you've seen the same thing too many times. It happens all the time. Like, you see it on... I see it on threads for Sharks games all the time about how tired people are of the same, like, 4 commercials. I don't know. It seems as though they're doing something wrong. But and I must be the idiot because they keep doing it, so it must be working, right? Crossbars are attached to the vehicle door frame. If no special fitting positions are given, the bars should be placed between 24 and 36 inches apart. Okay. So if I go back to this installation instruction, like, it says it just clicks into place, right? I'm not understanding what this picture is trying to show me. It seems as though I'm mounting these bars somewhere.